What's going on with you? Pope and ENT, then the Ficial, got the minutes,
I say peace
Red
to
Pill Blessings,
benedictions.
top up, top up.
Um,
What's going on with you this evening?
we it's the end of June. It's men's health awareness month that been overshadowed by people's sexual preference. And you would think that people who have a sexual preference, particularly in that lifestyle, would promote men's health. Being as though that they have ailments that are not talked about as much as they should. And people are dealing with pain and bleeding and all different kind of problems that that they don't promote in that lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody should be promoting about men's health awareness, it should be those people that's in that lifestyle. I'm just gonna leave that there because I don't want to get on bad terms with those people. But you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not trying to like insult nobody or nothing. But we just simply talking about men's health and men's health awareness month and why it
Right.
should be uh more highlighted. You know what I'm saying? You know, so I'm gonna
Yes,
give my
sir.
brother a chance to respond to that. You know what I mean? Because I don't want
Uh,
to be too lengthy in
right.
my desert.
Hey, look, and that's understandable, and happy Men's Health Month, and like we did say that it has been overshadowed being over here in San Francisco, California. You know what I mean? We just had weekends around those things, and men's health has been just at Father's Day and also Juneteenth. So on those days, celebration of men's health and the actual acknowledgement of men's health is a great thing. And getting back into it because I don't think we had enough dialogue around there because I didn't, see too much celebration going on around those parts. What you think? What was your observation?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely the same thing. And we can say that significantly because we span across the United States. So it's a direct
Right,
line across the United States from San Francisco to Philadelphia. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
if I'm seeing the same thing that you seeing on this coast and that you seeing on that coast, then what is there to conclude or to suspect that what's happening in between those 2,100 miles away? You know what I'm
A
saying? But
lot of
you know what I'm saying? So all across,
right.
so it's possible to project that all across America, we're seeing the same thing. Is that a preference is being overshadowed by identity or a role in the family structure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You know,
most definitely.
Father's Day happens to be in June. So it would
Right,
make sense that men's health awareness would be in June. But somebody
right.
decided to make June about a sexual preference. You know what I'm saying? Which
And more
overshadows
than just about Father's Day.
right. What overshadows the veneration and the necessity to understand you know the man, the husband,
Right.
the brother, the father, the head of the household, the security, the rescuer, the
Yeah.
creator, the inventor. You know what I'm saying?
The discipline, the
Rescuers need
reasoning.
rescuing too.
Yep.
You know,
The winning, the future, the
and it's
strength,
like
the
even
backbone.
when all of us share 23 chromosomes with each other. So even when you look at uh, different teachings from the past, like um, basically saying that everything has a male and female aspect to it. When
Ah, yes.
when you get into like hermetic teachings, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, and
Yes.
then, again, like with the scientific aspect of it, all of us carry 23 chromosomes from both our mother and our father. So, you know, if just like I was telling the sister, I'm like, man, if I get your father and your mother right here, I'm gonna see resemblance of you and her and you. You know what I'm saying? So you are just as much of your father that you are your mother. You know what I'm saying? So to not like celebrate or venerate, your father is to like reject half of who you are as a person.
Right.
You know,
Exactly. And that
and
that's and
that's
that's
something that seriously. Say it again.
no, I was gonna say that's a great point because especially coming into these times, because just even the lack of acknowledgement is how we got to this point. Because there's so many people that skipped over it
Right.
or avoided it or slept through the day because they wanted to make sure that they wasn't a part of it or made excuses for that day. How about that? How many people woke up that day and made excuses for why they wasn't doing what they were supposed to be doing or why they can't do what they're supposed to be doing? Hmm? Um, man, I was just thinking about a song by Mr. Fab
And
when he talked. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you, bro.
right. I was going to add
Yeah.
to that and say that as a man, you're not allowed to make excuses for those things. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
Yep.
nobody's gonna come and save you. Nobody's gonna, even the things that Kevin Samuels was talking about. People got mad at him for the things that he was saying when he's telling people that, winter is coming. Hard and winter in the terms of hard times is coming. You know what I'm saying? And if
All right.
you operate under a mindset that everything is just going to work out, like it's like you might not be exposed to the reality. You know what I'm saying? See, a
All right.
man's reality and a woman's reality can be slightly different sometimes. You know what I'm saying? You know, um,
All right.
you, it's a somebody's not going to coddle you or protect you from life's hardships. You know what I'm saying? When you're a man, you got to just deal with it. You know what I mean? And so when you have a mindset that everything is going to work out, it's like, yeah, you can pull that damsel in distress card and just be like, somebody's going to help me. But you know what I'm saying? If that was true, then we wouldn't have all these different calamities all over the planet where people literally be praying to people, begging people, whoever could help them, and no help coming, and then they meet their demise. So
Right.
this idea that everything is just going to work itself out is like a fairy tale that that's you know a epidemic in our community. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
like our
Yep.
family structure was based upon survival. It wasn't based upon fantasy, and now it's like more based upon fantasy, and survival has taken a back seat to fantasy, to where people
Right.
literally lead their lives in this false sense of security, like everything is just going to work itself out, and I don't have to, that's like I'm gonna just close my point with this. That's like saying, like, if you're a farmer, right, and there's a time to cultivate the land, there's a time to plant the seeds, there's a time for the harvest, and you think that you don't have to plant seeds, you don't have to water the plants, you don't have to tend to the garden, but you still think you're going to get an exceptional yield when it's harvest time. You might be lucky to get something, but your yield will not be as big as it would be if you took the time to do the steps necessary to get the yield that you want. And when you live
Right.
in a world where you just think everything is going to work out, you're not putting seeds in the ground, you're not watering the plants, you're not tending to your garden, but you expect to have something that you did not work for. You know,
True. True. And
so
the
I'm gonna
veggie
just close
back
my
off.
point with that.
Yeah. And the veggie back off that. It's sort of like the song Bob Marley came with. That every little thing's gonna be all right. That song was back then. That don't apply right now. You know what I mean? Going with that same attitude. I mean, it was a thought process back then. They were we were living in a time when people were making suggestions like maybe trim the fat off your food and don't eat too much pork, it'd be bad for you. but we're at a point to where people were forced to do something, and here we are now. No longer is it about we not finna, don't don't eat the Kool Aid and all this other shit. We at the point where it's like you got cameras up here. You got to sign up for this. If you don't like this, then disconnect from our services after everything you rely on is based on this service that we established for years to make sure you can't
Right,
disconnect from it. You get what I'm saying?
right.
So
And
even
it's like, all
think.
right, like even
Go ahead.
no, close your point. I ain't mean to cut you.
Oh yeah, no, no, we good. Nah, but it's like we at the point to where it's like people not even thinking that. Damn, we got to talk. We got to talk as people. Fuck this around what you thinking around. The single post and all the rest of the shit. We need to talk as a community. Look how we doing it. Philadelphia. We having this discussion. You bringing up a point that's going on in Philly. I'm like, man, this is matching something that's going on out here in San Francisco. So it can't be an isolated incident. You get what I'm saying? We've been talking about coincidences, and what I mean. Like,
Right.
hold up, hey, how long is a coincidence? What? What's it? What's your saying you got?
Yeah. How many times is a coincidence possible before it's mathematically impossible? You
Right,
know.
right. And I'm taking statistics for behavioral health right now, and it's wild. Just even how they
So
even.
you know, just like I was talking earlier about people having like problems that they don't like present to the world. That's a big part of what men's health awareness is, because
Yes.
a lot of times men don't show that they going through things. They don't.
Yeah.
They show the world that was really because it's like making yourself vulnerable. It makes you look weak to people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like
Right.
as a man, you gotta like hold a lot of stuff in. You gotta deal with it. You know what I'm saying? So when you like complaining or you're asking for help, people look at you a certain way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Yeah.
a lot of men is carrying stress that a lot of people don't know about, things that a lot of people you don't even think to ask. And like the last time that we did a show,
You said last time we did
checking
it.
on people,
Right.
checking on brothers and saying to them like, "Are you good?" And really just asking, "Are you good?" Like I was listening to a Ghostface album, and it was a song, a Supreme Clientele too. It came out. It's a song called "Friends," and he was saying like, you know, um, I love niggas with the L with the VE, and not the fake shit like the UV, and that shit just stuck out like damn, you know, because like again, like we talked about how it's even difficult for brothers to convey that they love each other to one another. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we used to have like things where it might be your birthday or something, and somebody call you on your birthday and be like, "Yeah, you getting old, you bitch ass nigga." You know what I mean? And that's code word for happy birthday, man. I love you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hmm.
And so it's like even with our speech and shit, it's hard for a motherfucker to really just be like in that space or what would be considered a vulnerable space to just say, "Hey, man, I love you, man." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not. It doesn't take away from your masculinity to tell another brother that you love him, or to tell
Hmm.
anybody that you love them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
being in tune with
Or
your feelings is like being able to like balance weight as opposed to just lift it. You know what I'm saying? I can control this weight. I can move it around. I can do what I want with it. You know what I'm saying? So that's the quest in life, is to be able to control weight, not just lift it. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes, in life, we got to pull ourselves together. You don't want to do it. That's just lifting weight. But being able to manage weight is what
yeah.
basically what is considered to be manhood. It's like You got to deal
healthy.
with the stress of the world. Where other
Yep.
people is going to break down, other people is going to fall apart. Like we talked about, even suicide, where there's a lot of brothers that I know personally that killed themselves for less things that I've been through. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
So
Yep.
we got to factor those things in. It's like, damn, it's like,
Yep. Being able to talk to folks and having that dialogue. And look, when you ask somebody how they doing or you good, you know what I mean, and somebody actually telling you, nah, bro, you know what's up, man, shit, I woke up, my heart was hurting, I didn't even know about that kind of shit, you know what I mean, or shit, I woke up, my leg was, you know what I'm saying, or man, I was having these thoughts about this, that, and the third. You don't know what's going on with somebody. You get what I'm saying? Like, and my mom used to always do that, like wake up in the morning and be like this, say good morning or something like that, because I didn't sleep with you. You feel what I'm saying? Like you don't know what people went through the night before or something similar. You get what I'm saying? So we come into them type of situations where things like that be happening sometimes. So what we got to do, we got to persevere and make things happen as we should. And you know what I mean? It's good that we actually have the opportunity to be able to talk to folks and be able to at least have these discussions as grown folks and bring that to the table. Yes, sir. And I'm glad the good brother here. You know what I'm saying? Like Philadelphia, Philadelphia, we on both coasts. You get what I'm saying? We sitting there having dialogue, talking about what's going on both, and man, it's still one and the same. We both going through it.
yeah, I mean,
One thing that I know we got in
it
common
is
is
real,
poverty.
man. Because
Go ahead.
I don't know what I did, but I might have caused some bandwidth bedlam a little bit. You know what I mean? I don't know. You know what I mean? Yeah, like, it's a struggle, man. And feelings are ending themselves. And
But rest in peace to those.
about it. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm, I don't know if I'm breaking up a little bit, but you know what I mean. But what I'm
Right,
saying,
yeah.
and then they be embarrassed to like tell people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That
for
they
years
close.
I had was people who that I know who have met their demise by their own doing, and I've always wondered like, damn, like what drive them to that? Like, how did they do that? Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like it's almost like the same desire that would make somebody drink seawater. Like, you hoping that you're gonna get your thirst quenched, but you know that drinking this is and well, if you do know, you know what I'm saying, because some people might wouldn't know, but if you know, like, for a fact that if I drink this seawater, it's gonna kill me. You know what I mean? And it's like, I'm dying of thirst. I'm so thirsty that I just want to drink this water, even though I know that it could kill me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, somebody might want to escape pain so much that they would do something like that. But it's like, I've always said that you can't.
You say you can't what?
There is no sigh of relief. You can't step back and be like, that was a good idea. Is breaking up
Yeah,
on
there
us,
ain't no
but
second.
you can't have a progress report, you know, for after the fact. You know what I'm saying? So if you do that to yourself, it's a wrap.
Right.
You
Well,
know
the
what I'm
main
saying?
thing is,
So
and the main,
there's only the only way you can like I was gonna say the only way that you can truly, and we breaking up, like, you can truly find like peace is to overcome those obstacles. You know what I'm saying? You got to fight like hell, man. You know what I'm saying?
yep, because
You got to
everything you're
overcome those
going through,
obstacles. If you
right? Yep.
if you out there and you're going through hardships and you feel like you can't tell nobody, and you're thinking about, you just want the pain to stop. There is no progress report for after you doing something to yourself to harm yourself. In
Yeah,
the
but
worst case, you could survive and then be more fucked up. You know.
Yeah. And see, the thing is this:
So
you don't,
don't do
not
it.
even
Don't
getting to
try to
that
do it.
point. Look, the whole point is to get before you get to
Right.
that point, and to be able to talk to people, and then to release them type of even them thoughts from your situation, because everything you're going through now is going to be everything you went through. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, you're only gonna go through things. How, like, Scarface back in the days, one of his albums is what, on one of his songs he was talking about, you either heading into a storm, you're in a storm, or you're coming out of a storm. And that's the same for black folks. You get what I'm saying? We either in the
Yeah.
middle of something. You get what I'm saying? And it's a constant situation. We always getting rained on. So it's one thing we all got in common is poverty, and we
Yeah.
got each other.
I'm in
So
a storm right.
right, right,
Ain't that the truth?
you know, right. So you know what I'm saying, and we all going through it. So we need to talk to each other. We need to talk about it. You know, and that's what we're here for. And engaging in that dialogue, because every day ain't a sunny day. But as long as we got each other, I say we all we got, because we all we need. You know what I'm saying? For real, for real.
And like there is no excuse. There's no excuse for like for not helping people. Like, all right, like a lot of times the response when somebody is trying to get help is like, well, we everybody's going through shit. So it's like when if the mindset is that everybody is going through hardships, therefore it's like this is the new normal. So then there's no reason to try to like make a change. Then it's like, what are you really living for? It's like, all right, like how can you appreciate, people who did the opposite of the way you thinking? You know, the
That made a
luxuries
difference.
that you enjoy today would not be they wouldn't be possible if somebody was comfortable in the situations that they were in that your predecessors were in. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So
You,
so it's like there always is a fight for a better tomorrow, a better living. To to really thrive, so to speak. You know what I mean? So you might be going through something. I might be going through something, but me and you might have each other's solutions. Your problem might be my solution, and my problem might be your solution. But the more that
yep.
we come together, network, hash and attempt to hash out our problems, we will find that some of us actually have the solutions to each other's problems. We can help each other.
Right.
So simply just looking and saying, well, everybody's going through problems, therefore I can just put my feet up and throw my hands up and say, whatever. That doesn't make problems go away. What
Yeah.
makes problems go away is when people get together as a community, as a family, as a tribe, as a clan, or what have you, and they present their problems. They allow themselves to be vulnerable, and you communicate, and then you'll find that at least half the people in the room have at least somebody, probably one or two or more people in that same very room who have the solutions to said problems.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Or
But
know somebody who
it
does.
won't happen unless, yeah, right. And it won't happen if we don't open up the floor for that discussion. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know,
Right.
um, I'm going through hardships, um,
Right.
and then just from being a person who's always helping somebody, it's like you can inadvertently put yourself on the back burner. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, like part of the reason why we haven't been consistent about doing the streams is because we got a lot of hardships going on behind the scenes, financial hardship. And it costs
Right.
money, to stream and to present this knowledge to people and to try to get people together to network and all these different things. So you see people all the time, asking for people to subscribe to their channel, share a
Yep.
video, like a video, and which don't cost you nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
Right.
when somebody is asking for something, it might it might seem like, oh, like cash dollars of money. You know what I'm saying? You might not
Right.
have money to help somebody, but you might have a
Right.
resource.
Right.
If you got a phone and you got fingers, you can just hit the button and subscribe to somebody for free. That's free. It don't cost you nothing. You can
Right.
subscribe to a channel. You can share a video with somebody who you think might like the video.
Right. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Who might be interested in somebody might need to hear this message.
Right.
Share it with a friend.
Yep. Share
Do
if you
do
care.
something to help somebody else that needs help. And if you don't have to spend no money, that's even a blessing. But sometimes spending the money might be the easiest thing you can do. It's like, hey, look, I can't do this, I can't do that, but here's a couple dollars. You know what I'm saying? Find somebody in your life
Yep.
that
So,
you can help, whether it be your family members, your friends, you know, a
right.
stranger. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of people who are well off, so to speak, but they don't feel the necessity to contribute to society. And we never going to get out of these situations if we don't come together and help each other as a people. And I'm gonna just leave
Yep.
it at leave allow my brother to add to that.
Yep. Hey, and that's one thing too. And one thing about it, like when it comes to helping people out, you could do it. You could be like Prince when it comes down to it. Be a humanitarian. Do it on the under. Don't do it with nothing looking for it in return. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't have to be on things. It don't have to be on film. Reach out to somebody. You know what I mean? We all the resource to individuals and things like that. We back to each one teach one. I mean, we never stop. And it's been like, man, we sharing quotes and taking notes. And you know what I mean? Like how the brother said, share. And like I always say, share if you care, share if you don't care. 'Cause there's somebody that cares enough for the both of us. You get what I'm talking about? And that's real life. Because the only way we're gonna make it is together. By ourselves wasn't cost effective. You got people literally running around thinking they got it, and maybe if they do got it, they not sharing it. Maybe they charging individuals for the same thing you're supposed to be giving people for free. You get what I'm saying? And
Right.
they charge. They got it backwards. We pay with love. You know what I mean? Fair exchange ain't no robbery. Everybody ain't got money. Maybe you know how to make videos. Maybe you know how to do editing. Maybe you know what I'm saying. You might know how to do babysitting. You might know how to plant a garden. You know what I mean? Everybody needs somebody that know how to do something. You know what I'm saying? The help center.
Right.
You ever watch the OG Jeffersons?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For real. The Weeds had a spot. They all went down there. That sounded like something that, you know what I mean, classifieds or something like that. We coast to coast. We got the internet. We should be using it. You know what I mean? Where's your bulletin board? What you got there? You can post your business card on there or something. Yep. Provide services. A lot of people want to have businesses and make money
Right.
off of stuff.
Right.
I'm providing a service. Trying to give you what you need, and
Right.
donations gladly accepted.
Right.
Yep. We trying to help each other. We've been helping each other,
Yeah.
and
What's the
we
best
figure.
nation?
Yep.
Donation. You know what I mean?
That's
Don't
right.
donate if you donate. You know what I mean? So you got the Cash App thing rolling at the bottom of the screen. So
Here we can add yours. Look here. Let me
it
see.
ain't no shame in my game. Like, look, at this point,
Yeah.
this all I got right now. Make a difference in the world. So if you want to help that mission, hit the cash
Yep.
support, share. Everything, you know, turns back into cash dollars. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. So
Opportunity comes in the form of money. Or money comes in the form of opportunity, vice versa. You know what I mean? So,
right.
you know, however you see fit, look out for the cookout. You know what I mean? If you ain't got no bread, just send a video to somebody, that need to hear this message. Help a brother out. Share a video, like a video, something. You know what I mean? Or if you got it like that, what I'm saying, give a donation. Everything is greatly appreciated because we need that at this point. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Financial tide is turning. You know, the economy is bad. Gas high, inflation. All these different things. So even StreamYard costs more. So
Yeah.
we need that, and I mean, definitely, greatly appreciate it. I ain't even ashamed, to even say that.
Yep. For sure.
But let's do what we do. A lot of people, they come to hear some knowledge dropped on them. We give them some wisdom, we give them some knowledge, and we even give them a little entertainment. You know what I mean? But
Right. Right.
yeah,
Righteous.
what we got on that? What do we have on our itinerary today? The title is, what does help look like? You know, um, what are some other things we could sprinkle on that cake? Before we put it in the oven.
Here in spirit of men's health and Juneteenth, as well as Black History Music Month, and some overall knowledge. When I was going through this book here, it spoke about something uh, called the crux ansanta, consisting of part of a cross surmounted by an oval. Hmm. Part of a cross surmounted by an oval, and which is seen most frequently in Egypt, especially in the hands of gods and goddesses, and is called the key of life, was invented or designed by Egyptian mystery schools as a symbol of immortality and as a symbol of life on earth. It was originally meant to represent the male and female sex organs, which carried on the process of reproduction, the reproduction of seed, and the reproduction of living things of their own species. Represented to the early thing, represented to the early mystics, the greatest mystery that they could observe and direct in its action. The idea developed that since each species could reproduce itself continuously, this was proof of the immortality of something in the seed. Thus, this symbol became a sacred emblem of the continuity of life or immortality. As time passed, the association of the symbol to the sex organs was forgotten, and the beautiful thought of immortality became the paramount idea with this key of life. The process of reproduction biologically, and still the greatest mysteries confronting the scientists as well as the layman. They called it the crux ansanta. We know it as the Ankh. Get what I'm talking about? It's like, hmm, little history lesson. Interesting.
Right. Yeah.
For sure.
The union between man and a woman. So just reiterating that connection that we have and the necessity to balance things. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We have an imbalance in our community. You know,
Right.
is systematically designed that way. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you know, how many of these protests and things that do you need to see an obvious truth that your family members had got targets on their back
Right.
and systematically destroyed, you know, and
Right.
it's like the powers that shouldn't be. It's like they want to chisel the black man society. You know what I mean? Which essentially destroys the family. Like just like how we talked about before, like the word husband. It means house band. You know, what holds the house together. You know what I mean? A woman makes a house a home, but a husband holds the house together. You know what I mean? There's a there's a there's a left-brained, right-brained approach to this. The logical aspect and the emotional aspect. The emotional aspect of making a house a home, but the logical aspect of the fiscal and the physical responsibilities and maintenance of that house and keeping things together. You know what I'm saying? And that, through the Hermetic lens, is the principles of man and woman, you know, that are both necessary to maintain things. You know, So we can't have this imbalance in our community where it's like, you see on Father's Day, you got women saying, I'm the mother and the father. No, go get that man and thank that man and congratulate that man and have his kids congratulate that man, and check on his well being and his mental health. And
Yeah.
understand that you wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for them. You know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all didn't even go see your father. Your father, like, it's sad that it's people that didn't have no father, don't know where their fathers are. Their fathers passed away, but then there's a lot of y'all out there whose fathers is living, and y'all ain't even keep up with them. And you couldn't even sacrifice one day to go and check on your pop, to go call
Yeah.
to do something for your pop. You wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for that man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Look them up on
So we
Facebook or
got to
something like
change
that.
that. We had that. Right. We got to have some balance. If you went to go see your mom for Mother's Day and you ain't go see your father for Father's Day and he alive and he, you know what I'm saying? You're not in alignment. You know,
Hmm. You gotta get the
I'm not
balance
trying to
back.
throw no shade on you or shit on you. I'm just saying that there's an imbalance. You're not in alignment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, but if they make it, see, I
Respectfully.
just seen that. Yeah, I just seen a video the other day where the brother made an excellent point when he was talking about how when a man is not in control of the household, then or control of what happens in the family, then he gets put on mute by society. You get what I'm saying? He doesn't have a voice. And when a man isn't able to speak,
Right.
then you know what I'm saying? He's not a man. He's not being able to fulfill his duties. You get what I'm saying? And when society makes it so that he's irrelevant in the situation, then you've got, what I mean, a whole bunch of men who don't even have a voice, or what I'm saying, that's not even having the ability to even make noise or something like that when everything is in favor of opposites. You get what I'm talking about? Because how many people
Right.
was on Father's Day was eating because they got EBT or some shit? You know what I mean? If you got it, obviously a man was involved. You know what I mean? Y'all was in some kind of situation. You know what I mean? And from there,
Well,
something got to
when
give
you
out.
when you when you marry the government,
Right. That's
when
who's
you
taking
marry
care of
the
it.
GOP, you usurp, the man is usurped by the GOP. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
And that's essentially what people are signing up for. It's like, it literally was a requirement to get the man out of the home to receive these benefits. You know,
Right.
you know what I'm
It
saying?
was.
So then you got like people straddling the fence where it's like I'm independent and I'm strong and I'm this and I'm that, but I also did a deal with the powers that shouldn't be to receive benefits as long as I destroy my family network.
Yep.
As long as I keep
And yep.
my kids away from their father, then they'll cut me a check. And
Yep.
and you don't see the sinister plot behind that. You don't see how that doesn't really benefit you. So it's just like how we talked about earlier about the They Live part in the movie when
Yeah.
the racist suggested that you should sell out because everybody else is sold out.
Right.
And that's what basically is like people have come to that precipice where it's like they think it's cool to just sell out and give the system what it wants. And it's like, hey, I get a little trinkets and they give me
Yep.
a little hat and they give me a keychain and a little book.
Yep. Yep. I got a badge.
And
I
this
got a
trinkets
badge.
and keychain and the hat may come in the form of cash dollars. It may come in the form of
Mhm.
right, or in that badge, it may that proverbial badge or trinkets that may come in the form of lifestyle. It might
Yep.
come in the form of a lavish lifestyle or a good job or something like that. But it's trinkets nonetheless in terms of
Right.
the magnitude of really what's happening here. You know,
Yep.
the thing about people who have a lot of money is that they can give what you would consider to be a lot of money to somebody to exploit them. You know, that's usually how prostitution works. People who
Mhm.
are super rich can give small increments of money, but to you it's a lot of
It's a
money
lot of money.
because of
Yep.
how much money that they have. So they
Yep.
can give you $1,000, and you could be like, "Oh wow, what do you want me to do for $1,000?" And they're like, "Yeah, sell your soul.
Yep.
We give you $20,000 if you kill everybody in your house." You know,
Yep.
so people's
Mm.
morals are being compromised, their integrity is being
Yep.
compromised for trinkets.
Yep.
I've
And they'll
seen
give you a talk
people
show.
I've seen black right. I've seen black people make homeless black people do push-ups for $1.
Yep.
You know what I
Yep.
mean? And it's like
Exactly.
I just come and just give them $1 and get them up off the floor and give them $1. Like, no, don't exploit yourself for these people. I'll give
Right.
you $1, and I don't even have as much money. I don't even have as much money as the guys who's trying to make you do push-ups. They got stacks of money. I got little bits of money, but I got stacks of integrity, and they got little bits of integrity. I got stacks of morals. I'm rich in morals. I'm rich in integrity. I'm rich in passion and love for my people. So that, yeah, here, I'll give you the little bits of money that I have just to keep you from being exploited by your own people. Because I care
Right.
about you, the homeless person, and I care about the guy who's got money. Because we all black, and none of us should be doing that to each other.
Yep. Yeah. Most deaf. And that's, I mean, shit. That's straight up. You know what I mean? We all was in. At one time, we was all in under poverty. That's one thing. Like growing up out here, one thing that we had in common, we was all broke, but we had the most fun. Like for some reason, we always ate. You know what I mean? Like and like just growing up now, when they put money in people's face, money in people's face, like all of a sudden
Well,
everybody done
well,
changed.
it's just like I wanted to touch back. I want to touch back on what you said about the Bob Marley thing. That song was prevalent back then
Yeah.
because we relied on a system that worked. You you
Mm.
just like
Yep.
you just said, yeah, we always had something to eat. You know, and one thing that's
Yeah.
always happened in our
Yep.
communities is that we were able to overcome obstacles based upon our family networks. Our
Yeah.
family
And our friend network.
networks are able to
Yep.
overcome these problems. Destruction of the family network, basically how you survive. So
Right. Mhm. Yeah. Hold up. Why you on mute? Unmute yourself. Oh, your mic's not connected. Yep. It's telling me your mic's not connected. If you can hear me, can you unmute it? Oh, it's back. Okay. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, I
Okay, I can
probably
hear
said something that white people don't like. We was giving up too much, and somehow my mic got cut off. I ain't do the shit.
you. Yeah, that's crazy. It did it on its own. Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
just like I was talking to Instagram account the other day called Philly Fame, and Philly Fame likes to promote the worst of black people, on social media. And I had wrote some comments on there like, like why y'all don't never promote nothing positive? You know what I mean? Why y'all why like they had some bullshit talking about like Philly niggas versus Newark niggas. And I'm like, if something really pop off between Philly niggas and Newark niggas, Philly fame is not going to do anything to protect either side.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all just
Right.
gonna sit back and eat popcorn and watch the destruction of black community and the delineation and the dissension of black men and try to use that for some entertainment. You know what I'm saying? You should be ashamed of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of people out here that be doing shit to like set us back as a people. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like they they do this shit for clicks and views and likes and shit. And it's like they they will never be real with themselves to be like, yo, the only reason my channel is popping or the only reason I get views is because I pander to the ignorance of black in the black community, and I'm basically doing what white people want me to do is slander my own people and make my own people look bad and keep them in a perpetual cycle of ignorance and violence, right?
Yep. Exactly.
But when you use your platform to really speak truth to power and try to spread knowledge and wisdom,
Yeah, they don't like that. That ain't it.
you know what happened? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Hmm.
See what I'm saying?
Oh, what they
You know,
doing?
it plummets because the powers that shouldn't be the people. They don't want you galvanizing. You know what I'm saying? Battle the ignorance to people. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Right. Right. You
So
talking about righteousness?
people accuse you of gaslighting people or rage baiting or trying to do things to get notoriety or trying to get your follower count up or your views count up, by causing a ruckus. And it's like the people who's doing that, who's accusing you of these things, have no integrity whatsoever when it comes to the betterment or the empowerment of black people. I think I said too much. Because they keep chopping me,
Uh,
so I'm gonna just chill.
oh, okay. Well, at
What
least I thought it
what
was
you
on
got?
my
What you
end.
got for us?
Yeah, I thought it was just on my end. But nah, I mean, I'm I'm seeing what's going
It
on with
seems
this
like they
shit. And,
chopping me.
right, what they got going with this whole like open source reporting, like how you say, people's
I
getting
think
clicks and views and subscribers,
telling me
and yeah, shit, people getting all this little stuff just by throwing other people under the bus. You know what I mean? Solving cases. That's what a lot of people doing is solving cases and creating more. You know what I mean? Like people amplifying bullshit. You know what I mean? And creating chaos. You get what I'm saying? Like they don't understand. Like, and a lot of the time, people ain't never
yeah,
been
that
nowhere.
bandwidth bedlam.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know they was gonna catch up. Where we at? 48 minutes. Yeah, they was gonna catch up. They said it's too long. They sitting up here dropping. They ain't dropping no canned ammonia. You know what I mean? Like for sure. But seeing how these people doing though, I mean, like you say, doing shit for likes and views. You know what I mean? If it's going clickbait, rage bait, all that just to try to get somewhere, and not knowing they don't be off the internet. I'm outside every day, outside. You know what I'm saying? Like really out in public doing stuff for the community, trying to build this together. But not only am I on here, I'm writing. I write for a newspaper. You know what I'm saying? We pushing this shit out, like actually reaching people, doing things for the community, trying to make a difference. Mad, making the difference. If you're not making a difference, what is you doing? Like you say, you get 24 hours in a day and always do your best, like how you're supposed to. You know what I mean? Give it 100%, you always good. I know 110%, and just know that everybody going through it, you ain't an isolated incident. and if we talk about it, we can get through it. You know what I mean? Like that's one thing I'm seeing. We ain't the only ones going through it. It's hard out here, and people falling by the wayside. Because if you don't speak on it, if
Well,
everybody got their Instagram pictures up there with smiley faces and shit like that, knowing you got like full blown
well,
cancer and all kind of
I've
other
been,
shit. Hmm. And knowing that you got
I've
stuff
been
going on with your,
disenfranchised, man. You know,
yeah. Hey man, we talk on a regular basis, man. So you've been connected to the streets, man.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I get shit off.
I try to, yeah, yep. Hey,
You know,
one thing,
do what you can to help somebody, man.
yep. That's where we at with it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I can say, man. You know what I mean?
Yep. Hey, share if you care, share if you don't care. You know what I mean? We're gonna make
If
a
every
difference.
if we understand that everybody, if we can all understand that everybody's fucked up, then then that means that you don't gotta look too far to find somebody to help. Do what you can to help somebody next to you. Just like how they say in church, look to your neighbor and shake your neighbor hand. Look. You ain't got to look too far to find somebody who you could help in your life. Whether it be, it might even be yourself. Help yourself,
Help yourself.
but
Give yourself
do
a
what you
dollar.
can to help the next person. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they a black person. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We in a wet paper bag, really. And the
Mm-hmm.
question is can we punch our way out of a wet paper bag? It's scissors laying around, but
Yep.
it's the scissors is the harmony.
Yep.
There's a harmony
Yep.
in
Hey, and
the precision necessary to use the scissors to get out of the wet paper. The
uh-huh.
real question is that do we have what it takes to create that harmony? You know, um, that's what is needed. Well, it's like you got to figure out how you can help somebody,
Right.
how you can make a difference. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Be mad enough to make a difference. Just like he said, it may
Right.
be make
Exactly.
a difference, but you got to be mad enough to make a difference.
Yep.
You hear me?
Yes. Yep. I can hear you. Yep. You got to be mad enough to make a
All right, so
difference.
so we got to create. Yeah, we got to create. I don't know what's going on with this
Every time
number
you
too,
try to
but
say something.
it's like every time I'm talking, then this shit start fucking up. So all right, I'm gonna just be quiet.
Nah, you good, man. We gonna work it out. Hey, nah, but you know what I'm saying? Like this whole thing is, if you got to be mad enough to make a difference. You know what I'm saying? And together is the only way we're gonna make it. So if you reach out, you know what I mean? Like you ain't got to wait till you get to the Walmart and see the guy outside. You know what I mean? Help somebody before you get there. I bet your neighbors need help. And besides the flat tire, you know what I'm saying? Like people, everybody going through it. Just know that, you know what I'm saying? Just because people look shiny, just know that people get dressed in the morning and stuff like that. They put on a costume. That ain't
Well,
how
I
they
mean,
feel.
see, like everybody's everybody's life is like a ship. You know what I mean? And some ships have a captain. Some ships don't have a captain. Some ships got the shit that they need. Some ships don't got the shit they need. So some ships got everything they need and no navigation. You know, so all ships don't have what it takes to get where they need to be. You know, and then sometimes people might figure out that they halfway out to where they need to go to realize that they don't have what they need to get where. So it's like if you expect every ship to be the same and have everything on it, you know, you're not being realistic. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yep. It's definitely issues there. You know what I'm saying? And when people not even knowing that, when it comes to people's ships and shit, like it's like a lot. Some people that got their parts taken while they was out at sea. They have pirates come take them, snatch your captain in midship. You know what I mean? While he was out there on the water. Your crewmate then got taken away. You know what I'm saying? Whoever was manning the sails and shit then got taken out. You feel me? That kind of shit. Like a lot of people, boat was in the water and shit happened. We just went through a 7 year period right now where people ain't spoke up. That's one thing about it though. Like right now, people got to speak up about what happened to them during COVID. You know what I'm saying? Like if we all talk about what happened, then we'll realize that everybody was going through the same thing. Your city, my city, these cities.
shit.
Hmm. It's cutting us. What's this? We up to the hour mark? Yep. he trying to he trying to cut it short. Yeah, we only gonna get an hour out of it. Hmm. Yeah, man. Look, that's why we gotta help each other so we can do better and be able to get these streams and stuff like that out, man. Me and the brother, we just reconnected on these streams. We're gonna be dropping more and more of these. Look out for us, you know what I mean? Share if you care, share if you don't care. Somebody care enough for both of us. You see our frustration, like you say, we going through it. You know what I mean? Help when you can. You know what I mean? You know, man, like I say, together is the only way we're gonna make it. By ourselves wasn't cost effective. Um, it's Pope Ben E Fisher the first. PopeENT.com. Sign up before time's up. Hit the Cash App. You can see it right there, Beneficial 415. And also hit the brother Khalid, his Cash App on there too. And let that stroll by so you can see what's going on there. PA 19107. Salute to y'all. See if the brother gonna tap in. And like you say, when you come across vital information, it is your obligation to share it with the nation. You know what I mean? Salute, Ashe, peace and benedictions. Peace. Get up out of here. Salute to y'all.